What's going on, everybody? My name is Aiden and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to be taking a look at another Chicago Bulls draft prospect, and yes, it is going to be another guard. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we've looked at the majority of the forwards. We've looked at the majority of the centers. There's, in terms of that regard, I've looked at everybody we need to look at, essentially. There's a select few that I still have in mind that I want to talk about, but ultimately, we've done all we need to do in that department. So all that's really left is guards, ladies and gentlemen. So with that being said, of course, keep on sending your recommendations in. I will always be listening to them and I'll try to make as many videos as I can on them in the near future. But before we get any further, if you liked the video and you want to see more from me, drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new. And let me know in the comments below about Stephon Castle, ladies and gentlemen. Will he be the next Chicago Bulls player with the 11th overall pick? So what do we need to know about him? Well, he is 6'6" in height, so a rather bigger guard, ladies and gentlemen. He's 215 pounds. He is seen as a combo guard at the college level, and he's only 19 years of age. So a combo guard, essentially someone that can play both the point guard and the shooting guard position. Also a player at 6'6", you would hope can transition into those wing positions at the NBA level, and I think if he's going to play for the Chicago Bulls team, that is going to be an essential part of what is going to be with this Bulls team, transitioning to the forward positions, transitioning to the wings, and shooting those threes and doing those things and stuff of that nature. With that being said, there is a little bit of worry when it comes to his stats, and I'm going to talk a little bit about it. Averaging 11.1 points per game, 4.7 rebounds per game, 2.9 assists per game, shooting 47.2% from the field and 26.7% from the three-point line. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you might be looking at those stats and you might be thinking, because this is what I was thinking, those stats do not look anywhere near as good as players we've looked at in the past. You have to ask the reason why. Well, there's a couple of reasons I have as to why. Number one, only 1 year in college, 19 years old. There's a lot of draft prospects we've looked at. The vast majority of them have at least 2 years in college. And it's a weaker draft class at the end of the day, so it does make sense to have 2-3 years in college when the draft class is this weak compared to just having a first year player. So ultimately, when you have those second and third years, you're developing with college players, you're developing in a very similar environment, you're getting coached specifically for your needs instead of the team needs and stuff of that nature. Development is essential within those 2 to 3 years, and that's why those players that have 2 to 3 years more experience at the college level play better than a first year player. But you're hoping at 19 years of age, when he comes to the NBA, there's going to be a little bit more potential shown in him over the course of the years at the NBA level than there might be at the college level. So his stats don't look great, but considering it's his first year, you'd only assume if he does go, I guess, to the NBA, he can show more at the NBA level, and hopefully development will not be hindered. But this is a big risk. Simple as that. Stats that don't look that great. If he gets selected in the NBA draft and he doesn't live up to the potential, he might not have the chance to develop at the NBA level. This is why there's a good conversation in my eyes of running it back in the second year in college and getting better from that standpoint. I don't think that's a terrible thing for Stephon Castle, but yet he's considered. It looks like he's projected to go in the first round as well. So we need to know why, ladies and gentlemen. Well, first and foremost, the biggest strength we could talk about here is, of course, his versatility, the fact that he can play multiple positions, and he's a very, very strong guard, ladies and gentlemen. I believe he was 215 pounds, if I'm not mistaken, at 6'6". He has potential to be an absolute bully when it comes to other guards, shooting guards and point guards alike. And that is a very, very interesting sight, ladies and gentlemen. At 19 years of age, to have that sort of body and frame, and that's only going to improve at the NBA level, being around NBA athletes, NBA trainers, and everything in between, he could really have a place where he could dominate when it comes to slashing, driving to the rim, maybe even a post game if he could develop one, wherever it may be. Being strong is a big part, and it could be a very good attribute. Again, we talked about versatility and playing multiple positions. Well, multiple positions, I kind of already mentioned at the beginning of the video. He's seen as a combo guard. He has the ability to play the point guard position. I think he's more of a shooting guard at this point in time, but he has point guard, potential. And at the NBA level, I could truly see him being a wing player, being a small forward, with his ability to rebound, his defensive ability, and even his slashing ability. I think there's a very good chance he could play in the forward positions in the NBA. And when it comes to versatility, well, versatility in the sense that he's kind of a guy that could do a little bit of everything. He can score, he can rebound, he can pass, he can defend. He's a very well coachable player from the scouting reports that I've seen. So he could do a little bit of everything. But of course, with those positives do come weaknesses. And it's crazy how much a strength can also be considered a weakness as well. So here's the biggest weakness that I have. His three-point shooting needs a lot of work. Now, I don't necessarily think his form looks terrible, but the harsh reality is 26% from three. I don't know how many attempts that is on, but that is very, very much below league average. And considering that the NBA three-point line is much wider, bigger, I guess you could say, that might prove to be difficult to adjust to straight away. So three-point shooting definitely needs some work. But that's an obvious one. But look, there's more. When we mentioned that he could do a little bit of everything, that could also be seen as a weakness. You might be saying, well, look, a little bit of everything. What's wrong about that? Why wouldn't you want a player that can score, rebound, assist, defend, and do all these great things? For someone in the Bulls position, we need a player that is going to make an instant impact. We need the best available. We need someone that can change our franchise. I know that might be very hard to find with the 11th overall pick, considering we're around the end of the lottery at the end of the day. That talent might not be present for the Bulls, but we need to find it. And ultimately, when you're good at a little bit of everything, you don't excel at anything. You're not elite at anything. And that's kind of how I view Stephon Castle right now. He could do a little bit of everything at a good level, but is he elite at any of them? I honestly can say I don't think he is at this point in time. Now, that's not to say with more years in the NBA, he can't become elite at certain things. Maybe elite at multiple things. But the harsh reality is now, when you're good at everything, at some point, you have to try to excel and become elite at something, and I just don't see that at this point in time. So I do consider that a weakness, but ultimately, again, at 19 years of age, that's a weakness, can definitely improve at the NBA level, and with the right coaching staff in place. Will Billy Donovan be the right person to excel when it comes to his play? We'll have to wait and see. And with that being said, I also said it's hard to predict what position and where his development will come from. That is obviously a difficult thing as well. I could give you an example. This is an example I was thinking of watching his highlights, ladies and gentlemen. Cody Williams. Someone that at the NBA level, I think he's projected to go around the top 10 and stuff of that nature. When I look at Cody Williams, I see where his potential is going to come from. Someone that could be a massively elite forward when it comes to the defensive work and can add some scoring, especially from the three-point line, the catch and shoots. You can see where the potential is for Cody Williams. It's clear as day. There's so much potential. I can't wait to see what really turns out for him, in all honesty. It's clear. It's obvious. And you know where it's coming from. You know what the potential can look like. With Stephon Castle, I don't know what the potential will look like. I don't know if he's ever going to be an elite scorer at the NBA level. I don't know if he's ever going to be able to be a phenomenal three-point shooter at the NBA level. I don't know if he's going to be an elite passer, an elite defender. I just don't know where the potential is going to come from because it's so spaced out. Again, it's very similar to the second weakness I mentioned. It's so spaced out in terms of what he can do. Where is the potential going to come from? Is it all going to rise at once and he can become the best player we've seen in ages? Or is it just going to slowly develop until he becomes a solid role player, maybe a potential starter at the NBA level? I kind of view him as well, in a sense, to Patrick Williams. It's where Patrick Williams is now, by the way. Patrick Williams started in high school as a point guard. He moved to a bench player in college, and he played the small forward and the power forward positions with the Bulls in the NBA. He's done a little bit of everything. He's played point guard, he's played off the bench, he's played in both forward positions. The only thing he hasn't really done is he's played at center yet. And trust me, that could still very much happen at any point in time. So I can kind of view it in that standpoint with Stephon Castle. But with that being said, would I select him with the 11th overall pick? I personally think he could be a good role player, maybe a good starter at the NBA level, but I don't think he's going to be the best available. And to put it specifically, I view him as a player that could work well on a team that already has things figured out and just needs someone that could do a little bit of everything off the bench every now and then. That's where I see him thriving. Do you agree? Let me know. Have a wonderful and safe day. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care, and peace.